I'm Rachel Baer. I am the owner and operator of Baer Homes, powered by Keller Williams, Kansas City North, and I've been an agent for a little over 7 years now.
Awesome. And have you always been at Keller Williams?
Yes, I've been at actually several different Keller Williams offices around the Kansas City metro, but always been at Keller Williams.
What did you do previous before?
I worked in, I would say, corporate America. I worked just a 9-to-5 desk job, downtown Kansas City. First job I got out of college, and I was there for about 5 years.
What did you go to college for?
Public relations, and then I had my master's in business administration.
Okay, so what made you pivot and get into real estate?
I had a really close family friend who had gotten their real estate license and had been an active agent for the last couple of years, and she worked on me for a couple of years and finally convinced me to take the jump to get my license and join her in real estate.
Awesome. And then did you guys partner together or?
Yep. So when I decided to make the jump, I was pregnant with my first child and I got my license over my maternity leave, and then I went back to that job, worked for 2 weeks and put my 2 weeks in and left. But yes, we worked together, mentorship situation for the first couple of years, and we were in 2 different locations where our business was, so it just made sense for us to separate a little bit later on so I could move to the north and be where I sell a majority of the houses that I sell.
So we started here at the office like right around the same exact time. So tell me, like, did having a baby influence you wanting to get into real estate?
It was probably the biggest reasons why it took so long for me to do it, because moving from a salary job with benefits, a lot of structure, and then you jump into a 1099 full commissions, it's terrifying, especially with a newborn at home. But it was definitely the best decision I have probably ever made.
Okay, so fast forward, I want to tell everyone like what has changed in your world in the last 7 years.
A lot. We added another baby, so we've got 2 kiddos at home now, and just our life looks so different. Financially, personally, where we live, we moved. I just bought a new car. Like, I don't know, like, everything is different. We were able to financially upgrade our life to be in the house we want, the school district we want. It's crazy to think back. Whenever we did get pregnant with our first child, I remember we were thinking, how are we going to afford this? How are we going to have daycare, both be working? How do we afford this? And we don't have as many financial issues. I don't know how else to say it, but it has been very freeing. We go on a lot of trips with our kids. I feel like we can just enjoy life and make it what we want versus having to alter what we want to do for other reasons.
So I've watched you transform quite a bit since I met you at first. Like, at first it was like zero leverage. So tell us a little bit about, like, 3-4 years ago, how much business were you doing?
It was probably somewhere between the 15 and 25 houses a year range-ish. I think my lowest year was maybe 12 houses. I don't really remember. But I would always get to the low 20s, and I just couldn't get past that. And I knew that the way that I had structured my business, that there was a lot of tasks that maybe someone else could be doing and free up a lot of my time to actually focus on leads and follow up and everything more than what I was. And so I did make the decision, a very hard decision, to hire someone full-time and take so much off my plate and keep the marketing and keep my farms and keeping everything going, the event planning, without me having to do it all. And that alone has doubled my business and has given me so much more time to spend with my kids and my family, and has probably been another big life decision that it seemed daunting at the time, and now I don't think I could function without it.
So when you made that decision, it wasn't easy, and a lot of that has to do with it's just hard to be an individual business owner and then start leveraging, but it's really hard with your particular disc profile. And I know we've talked about this, I've had you speak about it. I have people go to you and I'm like, if Rachel can do it, you can do it, right? And it's,
Yes.
I remember one day you actually said, we were at the Green Hills Library doing that panel, and it was like a leverage panel. And you actually raised your hand and made a comment like, but you can't do those items. I can. Tell us a little bit about what that means, because I think that's really important, because a lot of people think that way.
I have always thought of myself as a jack of all trades. I feel like there's honestly nothing that I can't do.
So what did you find the hardest about making that first hire?
Number one, realizing that I did need it and then it was going to be beneficial. It was my biggest fear was that I'm going to hire someone who's just going to be the biggest waste of money and I'm going to regret that decision, which that was not the case at all. That was never a thought in my mind once I actually did commit. The hardest thing I'd say is giving up the tasks. All the tasks that this individual is doing now, I know how to do, and I know how to do them in a proficient way and the way that I like to do them. Every task that she is doing almost now, I have done and did for myself for years, on top of juggling clients and prospecting and everything like that.
Two babies.
Yes. So it was just truly removing myself from the doing the work, which I still get my hand slapped sometimes. Hey, that's not your job. That's stay in your lane, which I encourage it. If I'm doing something that is definitely within your job description, you have permission to tell me to stop, because it's a comfort thing, I think. I know if you have a big task in front of you and you don't know how to do it or you have to learn it, sometimes it's more comfortable to go back to a task that you know how to do and get your confidence up. So I still struggle with that, having to get out of the day-to-day and work more on the business and where we're going in the future.
So the working in the business versus on the business, it's really easy to go back to the defaults.
Yes. Yeah.
And a lot of it is control, right?
Control's hard.
Did you say you like paperwork?
I love
paperwork. And that's another thing. But you've had a TC for a while now, right?
Yes.
And you said no to that at first too.
Yep. I did not have a TC for the first maybe 2 or 3 years that I started, and I finally bit the bullet. And she would always come to me and she's like, "You're doing my job. You're one of the most I don't have to do much because you're already doing it." And we'd have that conversation a lot. And so I still have it. Told her from the beginning, I have a habit of doing your job, and she has permission to also get out of there, stop doing that. That's my job. Just forward me the emails, which it's been so much better. I don't know what finally clicked, but maybe it was trust. You work with someone long enough, you're like, okay, they do know what they're doing. And so once the trust is there, I feel like it's much easier for me to let go and let them do their thing. But she still tells me all the time that I'm way more in the weeds than any other agent that she's ever seen. Just knowing timelines and dates and everything. But I think that's important.
It is
personally. I do think it's an important thing. I just always put myself in my client's shoes. I would want my agent to be as hands-on as possible, to an extent. Obviously, we have other things to do, but as hands-on as possible.
But that doesn't mean once you made the decision to make a hire that it was just game on. Now you're all gung-ho, I'm gonna get all the leverage, and
no,
there's still a lot of resistance, and you'll still come up against frustration points, right? Because we know that when we go to make a hire, we typically want to hire the person that's like us, and in your case that might work but probably won't either, because you're a unicorn. That disc profile is very unique. And even I run into this. We hire somebody, but we want to hire somebody that's just like us, but we actually need to hire what?
Somebody opposite from us.
We need to hire to our weaknesses so that we're a more well-rounded team. And that's hard to do.
It definitely is. It also is hard now that my business is basically doubled, seeing the other areas where leverage is needed and trying to convince myself again that it's a good thing. It takes a while for me to make a decision. It's always been like that. I think that's that C side of it. definitely not one to make quick decisions very fast. But I will say that I did add some leverage. I just have another agent helping me with showings, and I just had to swallow the pill and prepare my clients for it, and it's been great. I still do, I'd say 75% of the showings, but if there's a conflict with something of my child, or I have another client that I'm showing, I've got a couple people that I can rely on, and I haven't seen any change in business from it. That was my concern. Is the service level going to go down if I'm not the one doing it? And as long as you prepare your clients for it, I think set expectations is huge.
What advice would you give to somebody who has never hired a TC or is ready to hire their first admin but is scared to, or something like that?
Hire a TC. Like, don't even think about it. The most of the time is a TC is paid per transaction. And so if you do not close anything, you're not out. And so I would recommend finding a TC, hiring a TC, but making sure it works for how you would like to pay that individual or something. That's why I said, like, don't even think about it. Like, do get a TC.
Yes, you need to know how to do it. You need to know how to fill out a contract. You need to know how to write a resolution. Like, you need to know how to do all of those things. And yet, you don't actually have to be the one.
I think, if you first get your license, maybe the first 5 transactions do on your own. Have the knowledge, know where everything's supposed to go. You don't need to be super proficient, but then get yourself a TC right away. And but you have to be careful, because let's say you get a TC and you do have some more free time now. What are you filling with the free time? Are you shopping? Are you spending more time at the pool? If that's what you want to do, okay, that's great. But you always gonna need to reallocate those hours that you're saving for business, or you just have to be cautious of like where you're spending your extra hours.
So most of the time when we're saying you need to get that leverage, it's because on average, let's say, they say that a transaction takes 50 hours. I'll be interested to see what that looks like in a year or two now with AI and all of that. But like if a transaction takes 50 hours, they say 10 of it is paperwork. Now, hiring a TC doesn't remove you from any paperwork or anything, and yet if you're getting 9 hours back,
where are you putting it?
If your intention is to spend 9 additional hours a month or 18 extra hours a month with your family, then that's fine. But going into it knowing it, the people that don't want to leverage it are the ones that aren't doing enough transactions yet, and they think, well, I haven't earned the right, or it doesn't make sense for me to pay that expense. But really, it's a cost of sale, because you're only paying it when it's closing. And if you reallocate those hours, you'll more than double.
Like, Katie does all of my event planning. She basically runs my entire marketing program for like farms and stuff. And there's no way. Like, it's so daunting now. I'm like, how did I do all of that? I'm doing things at a higher level now. So it's like, there's definitely no way I could do it on my own. So now I'd say 3 farms and she manages all of it. The marketing side of it, obviously, if someone like leads and prospecting and going on appointments and stuff, that's all me. But the entire, which all farming is, event planning and marketing, she does it all. So I just get to answer the phone when someone calls and says, come list my house.
There you go. Pretty awesome. Okay, so what advice do you have to somebody who's been thinking about getting into real estate and they are hesitant for one reason or another?
I had a unique entrance into the real estate industry. Again, I had a very close family friend of mine who was willing to take me under her wing, and I'm very appreciative for that. And I think you need to find a person. Maybe that's a friend, maybe it's someone you've never met. I really do think having a mentor or someone to encourage you along, plug into a training program, join a team, whatever you may be. Starting solo with no support, I don't think is the way to go. I think that's the quickest way to crash and burn. But just get plugged in, find the resources, and commit. You have to say, I'm gonna do this. You have to have confidence in yourself. Fake it till you make it. I'd say that for years. I'm like, I'm just faking it and eventually I'll make it. And it's crazy to look back on. Everything compounds. And if you just work consistently at something, it's gonna pay off. So just be a sponge and soak up everything and do everything as well. Do the door knocking, do the cold calls, do all of it, figure out what works for you and what you like to do, and so you can continue to do that consistently.
When people think that in order to be an agent, you have to cold call, you have to be able to do 4 open houses a weekend, you have to be able to do all of these things, like, do you find that that's true?
I think in the beginning you need to try it all.
Try it all because you want to see what actually fits for you. Because the ways I lead generate, I would have never in a million years thought would work for me, because they made me want to get sick, like physically sick in the beginning. And now it's the ones that give me the most energy. And like, so you really don't know until you try it out.
You
like,
don't
you
know.
can guess based on your disc profile, but you got to try it.
And when I say try, you got to try for a year. I know that sounds like a long time, but I'm a big no person. I can say no pretty easily. And I have 3 pillars in my business, and they've never changed. Once they started to pay off, it became pretty consistent. But I think everybody needs 3 different big lead sources in their business. And you can interchange. Maybe it's open houses, and then it's referrals, and then it's SOI, and then you're like, open houses is taking too much of my time or something. So then you change to social media. Like, you can always plug and play, but I think you need to pick 3 things, do them consistently, give it at least a year, see what works, and then switch in and out. And I will say, I've also learned one of your lead sources, I really think it needs to be a way to meet new people. SOI and referrals are not necessarily a way to meet new people. Referrals are typically from your SOI, but like farming brings in people that you don't know. Open houses brings in people you don't know. You always need to be feeding your database with new people, so make sure at least one of your lead sources is reaching people that you don't know.
The average agent loses about 10 to 20% of people out of their database every single year due to death, moving, they get their license, whatever it is. And so then you have to constantly be replacing it, or else you will naturally go backwards. Gary Keller says, you're losing so slowly you think you're winning. And like the reality is your business was going backwards and you think you're growing.
And it's, again, you need to have at least one lead source that is bringing in new people to your database. And maybe that's not leads. It doesn't necessarily have to be like new leads, just new people as
contacts.
well.
One of the biggest mistakes I think that I see people doing in real estate is it's all about the right now person, and we ignore the contacts that we're coming in contact with, and then that's your people that are going to be doing deals in 2, 3, 4 quarters that's building your pipeline
that you may not even know. And you may not even know them directly. You may not even know, they may not even be a lead yet. They haven't raised their hand, they haven't called you, they haven't said anything about moving, but their wheels are turning and they're thinking about it, and you want to be front of mind whenever they do make that decision. And so you can't just let your contacts that are not leads die.
Yes. I think we do a pretty good job of following up with the people that we know have raised their hand that they're going to buy, right?
Those are the easy ones.
On those.
Those are the easy ones because they've raised their hand. You have a lot to talk to them about. It's the ones that have not raised their hand that you still need to be in contact with, and you have to figure out what message to put in front of them that doesn't sound salesy.
Well, I think a lot of people get really tied up in this, and this is where I would say we have some really awesome things coming out with the tech here soon that's going to show you we're going to bridge a massive gap. But the main thing is, like, with AI now, like, you can create multiple different avatar clients, like your ideal clients. Like, you can have all of these different clients, and you can have different drips set up in an hour for all of these different people, so that your message isn't so broad and generic that it doesn't speak to the consumer. And you're not sitting on the phones calling cold leads 5 hours a day. And we actually didn't even talk about the growth in your business. So about 3-4 years ago, you were doing about 20 deals a year. How many did you do last year?
47.
47. That's incredible. How much did you do, or how much are you on track to do this year?
I've closed and pending right now. I have 20, and so we're on track for 50, which is the goal.
So awesome.
I don't want to. Everybody's like more.
No,
if I wanted.
no.
I honestly, one of my goals this year is actually to have lower unit count, higher average price point.
And you're on track for that too. So one misconception is that we're always saying do more, and like that's what I love about that Jordan Freed class, the Mega Agent Blueprint, is he actually shows you exactly how to pick number, and then you stick to it. The goal would be, what is the income, my ideal income number? Then he says you 2x it, right? And then you invest that half, and you live off the other half. So if you need to live off $250,000, then the goal is to make $500. You invest $250,000 a year, you live off $250,000 a year, and then the goal is, once you get to that number, how can I hit that number every year, but work less every year?
And that's where I'm at
Instead
with
of
the
just-
average sales price. It's like, I don't think I'm gonna hit my units goal for quarter two, but I have well exceeded my volume goal for quarter two. So I'd rather work less.
Like, we do say units is the healthy way to know that your business is growing and not going backwards. Because if you have like one $10 million unit, and then you're like tricking yourself to think that your business is growing, if you're not careful, that will take you backwards quickly.
True.
And if you get paid on GCI, which most people do, or you get paid on volume, then
I would love to still do 50 units and have a higher average price point. That would be awesome. Because last year, there was a point of time in the spring that I was ready to burn it all down. I was so stressed. And I did still have my full-time employee, but it just wasn't enough in that moment. And this year, this spring, I'm doing I've got the exact same load that I did last spring, and it's easy breezy. I think last year was my first year that I felt like last year was more of like a breakthrough year. It was just crazy. There's so many things compounding that actually like finally came to fruition. And it had been like 5 to 6 years of just grinding. It all just exploded. And
you broke a lot of systems last year. You had a few systems that weren't working anymore, and then it was like it was definitely a breakthrough. And we moved. But
this year, again, I think things are a lot smoother, and it's interesting to see, like, I have the same amount of pending and under contract as I did last year, and I feel fine. I think the showing partner
showing partner, even if it's only 25%.
The showing partner has helped so much. It definitely was a conversation that my husband and I had to have, and he's like, this is not, what you're doing now is not working. It was for sure a personal decision. I still think showings are a great way to connect with your clients, and it is hard for me to give that up, but I've found other ways to connect with them, and they can still see my value and still get to know them, and I haven't seen it be anything detrimental or anything crazy in my business.
I love that. Okay, so tell us a little bit about the culture that you see here at Keller Williams and our office.
The biggest thing I think is if you have a question, someone's there to answer it. No matter what the question is, if it is something specific about someone's business, I feel like as long as you approach it the right way, out of curiosity and truly trying to learn, and someone's always willing to help. And even though we are competitors, there's certain things that maybe someone may not be comfortable sharing, and that's okay, but I think for the most part everybody's willing to help.
What I like is that it is collaboration over competition, and yet we respect that if someone's like guarded a little bit about something, like we don't know why they're being guarded about it, and it's their business, right? And like I also love that we can sit in there weekly and mastermind around whatever issues people have going on in their business, and you guys are all helping each other strategize about how to get your listing sold, or pricing it, or even going out and previewing them together and giving feedback to each other, like all of the things. And you guys all think wildly different in there, right? Like your practices in your business can be very different, and yet you can respect and collaborate around the ideas. Whereas a lot of times I feel like, unfortunately, in society, it's like if you don't agree with me, like sometimes we butt heads.
And
in
that's
there,
the
we
benefit
don't.
of real estate. Like everybody can do their business however they want. We got on the topic of what do you wear to showings yesterday. Oh, and everybody's got a different viewpoint. And that's because everybody's clients are different.
And it's your business.
And
You
it's
get
your
to choose.
business, exactly. The other thing I'd say, I don't know if it really speaks to like the community of the office, but I've always felt extremely prepared for whatever market we're in. New paperwork coming out, new changes in regulations, new rules. I've never felt left behind, and that is not necessarily the case with maybe some other agents that like co-op agents or something. I definitely feel like the leadership team and our brokers, like they keep us up to date ahead of time on what's coming, what to expect.
Sometimes too much.
I don't know. I don't think it's too much. I don't think it's too much. Everybody uses communication differently. Email, Facebook, whatever. So I don't think it's too much. I'm an information person.
If someone was thinking about making a switch, you've never been in another brokerage, but if somebody was thinking about making a switch, what would you say they would get at our office that they might not think about?
I think our office gives you a platform if you want one. I don't know how else to say that. Like, again, I've been asked a few times to teach a couple classes, and I'll do it. It's not my jam, but I know there's some people that love it. And so if you have the desire to teach or to be really present in an office and really have a community around you, you guys make that possible. Lots of opportunities, as I said, to get plugged in. I think you guys are really good at, the office has really good, you guys are good cheerleaders. If someone's doing something well, I feel like you guys have been good at like positioning them into rooms to help them flourish and grow, and even outside of the market center as well.
Well, thank you. I can't wait to see what your business looks like in 5 more years.
I know, crazy to think about. Hopefully it'll be good.
It's going to be amazing.